Bokpulu is frog. Paris nodded gravely. Bokpulu, he said, as if in serious intention to remember it, and this made her laugh and look down and raise a hand to her mouth in the strange gesture, half modest, half superstitious, with which she always covered her laughter. He laughed a little in response, moved by tenderness and renewed desire at this familiar and strangely helpless movement of hers. She sat carelessly, exposing her inner thighs below the short skirt. Modesty and indifference were blended in her in a way he had never understood. With the sensitivity that she showed in all physical matters, a swiftness far surpassing his, she kept her eyes down for some moments. When she looked at him, it was with a certain quality of steadiness that he also recognized. Proud, calm, quite unself-conscious. He heard a movement and a brief muttering from one of the sleeping children on the other side of the partition, then silence again. "You've finished that now," he said, pointing towards the cane seat beside her on the trestle. At once she began to sweep the grain into a clay bowl, tilting the board and using the edge of her hand. Paris watched, remembering the first time he had come to her, the desolation of his desire, standing outside in the dark, a cool wind from the sea, his feet kicking in the debris of fallen palmetto leaves, the loneliness and need possessing him, Ruth's image lost among the rustling fronds at his feet. The same soft light, the same sense of warmth and safety. He had shared her with several men since those days, but nothing had changed the feeling she gave him of having reached a safe haven. Just so had she looked at him then, as he stood dumb before her, with the same steadiness, without subterfuge, and yet with a pride and decorum that had survived all the brutalities of the slave ship. "Make deadly fire," he said softly. She slept naked, but for reasons that seemed cogent to her, she would not undress before him, nor ever make love except in the dark. They lay together on the bed of rush matting and deerskins. Faint light came through where the woven mats joined the eaves. He could make out the line of her cheek, and her eyes in their shadowed hollows. A smell came to him, and he nuzzled his face against her neck, and kissed the pulse in her throat, and then the full mouth, which softened to his kisses. Having early discovered his eccentric taste for kissing on the mouth, she had practiced the way of it that pleased him most. She pressed against him, but softly. Her first movements of love were always gentle and slow. She moved her hands over his chest and abdomen and traced the bones of the pelvis. Preliminaries between them never lasted long. For him, her touch and nearness in the dark were enough, and when he turned to her, he found her always ready. The night, as he rode to his peace, he muttered that he loved her, but the only reply that came was in the quickened breath of her excitement. Afterwards, she was asleep almost at once, almost before his wake was off her. Sleep, however, did not come to Paris, despite the torpor of his body. Indeed, his mind seemed the clearer for this. He lay awake for a long time, his thoughts moving outward in concentric ripples, the solitary phenomenon of himself to the human creatures sleeping around him, then to the spaces of the night around. Once again, the wonder of their existence on this remote strand came to him. In terms of odds defeated and probabilities defied, it verged on the miraculous. Even the first condition of survival, the unity preserved among them after Thurso's death in the aftermath of the mutiny, when staying made them all accomplices in murder, even this had been due to accidental factors. The presence of the gold dust on board, the extraordinary fervour of Delblanc. No one had known of the gold dust at that time but Barton and Haynes only because Barton needed his help. The knowledge had been enough to make these two throw their weight behind the mutiny. Fear, too, of course. Both men were hated, but had they not planned to return to the ship, they might have opposed the idea of grounding her. Once she was grounded, there had been no turning back. The presence of the gold, then, had been an accidental blessing, but the man who had done most to keep them together had not been a member of the crew at all. He saw Delblanc's face before him now, with the starkness on it of a truth belatedly, overwhelmingly perceived. Delblanc had seen more clearly than anyone that only concerted action could save them, not only from surrounding dangers, but from one another. Perhaps there was already present to his mind the marvellous opportunity the mutiny presented to test his theory.